Hey, what's up, guys? This is Doug with Outlaw Off-Road. You know, we get questions every day on topics ranging from sway bars to long arms and everything in between. And obviously, we've got answers to those questions. We answer them all the time, but we wanted to make a video series for you guys to get into those questions, answer those questions for you, give you the right information, help you cut through all the stuff that you may have seen, some of the bad information out there. So that's what we're going to do right here, right now. So let's get after it. Hey, welcome back to Let's Get After It. Welcome to episode 4. We have gotten into lift kits, systems, components, how to pick them, what to do, what not to do. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about sway bar links and sway bars in general. This is a topic that comes up a lot. Some kits have them, some kits don't. Some kits have disconnecting sway bar links, some kits don't. It can get really, really crazy. It can get really confusing, and without some proper guidance on this issue, it's really easy to make the wrong decisions here. So we're going to talk about a couple of quick points today. We're going to talk about front sway bar links, we're going to talk about rear sway bar links, and then we're going to talk about angles, just what we want to see as far as sway bar angles if you're looking at it kind of sitting parallel to the ground. So front sway bars, we're going to go there first. That's where most of the questions come from. It's where most of the components kind of live at. They live in that realm of the front sway bar. So basically a sway bar is there to prevent sway. It prevents body roll. It's a nice big thick bar that can kind of twist and move and roll as you're on the highway. If you're off-road in any condition, if that bar is connected, it is limiting body roll. It's connected at two places on the frame, left side of the frame, right side of the frame, and then it goes down with links from the sway bar itself to the left side of the axle and the right side of the axle. We want a link there no matter what, but do we want it connected all the time? Do we want it connected where we can disconnect it? Some of you out there, Rubicon owners, Mojave owners, we're looking at you. You guys got the nice fancy button. You just pop the button and you're disconnected. So we even got sway bar links for you. So disconnecting sway bar links, by far the most popular. And all that really is a link that is 90% of the time, it's connected sway bar to frame, sway bar to axle, and you can disconnect them. Most of them are what we call quick disconnects. So we'll call them a grenade pin or quick pin, quick pull, whatever. And those are designed to quickly and easily be able to pull a pin, pull something off of a stud that's mounted on the frame side or axle side. And you can move that sway bar link out of the way and you're disconnected. Why we would want to disconnect is simply for off-road use. If we're disconnected sway bar and we're off-road, that axle now can articulate. And it's not held back by the travel that the sway bar would limit it to if it was connected. So when you go off-road, disconnecting, obviously in addition to airing down your tires, it's going to give you the maximum articulation. It's also going to give you the best ride. It's going to ride much smoother. It's going to go over bumps, over obstacles, rocks, whatever, much, much better. So we definitely want to disconnect. If you're in a vehicle and you do not have an electronic disconnect and you are lifted and you go off-road, look for a kit that has disconnecting sway bar links. And this is front. You want to have that, especially if you're going to go off-road. Those are two of the things that you got to have. You got to air down your tires when you go off-road, and you really need to disconnect those sway bar links. So if you don't have electronic disconnecting and you are going to go off-road, absolutely look for a kit that has disconnecting sway bar links. If you have a vehicle that does not have electronic sway bar links and you're never going to go off-road, the most your off-road's going to see is heading to Target on the weekend. Not as important for you. In fact, it might actually be a waste of money for you to get a kit that has disconnecting sway bar links. You're going to want longer ones, yes, because you've lifted the vehicle, but you don't need ones that disconnect. And generally, those disconnecting ones can run anywhere between 25 and 50% more than their non-disconnecting counterparts. So if you don't need it, it's not something you need to spend money on just because it's available and just because it's there. If you're not going to use it, don't buy it. If you think you are going to use it, absolutely step up. Buy once, cry once, they always say. I know we all hear that. But it's true. Buy once, cry once. Get the disconnecting sway bar links if you need them. But if you don't lose any sleep over not having them. Disconnecting sway bar links, not exactly a status symbol. So buy what's right for you and your situation. So that covers kind of sway bar links themselves. Now, Rubicons in the Wrangler, in the Mojave world, and excuse me, in the Rubicons and Mojaves, You guys all have a little button. And when you push that button, that sway bar will disconnect in the middle. If you look under your Jeep, you're gonna see a motor right in the middle of your sway bar between the frame rail. And that motor basically separates that sway bar and allows it to twist freely. One side here, just disconnects. That right side, even though it's connected to the frame and the axle, it's not connected in the middle and they can rotate freely. So technically those sway bar links are still connected, but in the middle it's not. Good system, great system for regular to moderate off-roading. It's gonna work for 75 to 80% of the people out there. You're going to get almost, emphasis on almost, you're gonna get almost as much articulation as a person with a fully disconnected sway bar. You can get, there are certain companies out there, sway bar links that are specifically designed for an electronic disconnecting sway bar. A couple brands come to mind immediately. Those are designed to remain connected, but also at the same time allow maximum articulation between the sway bar and the axle with that link, like a Heim joint or what have you. So those are gonna be there specifically for those. And again, we're talking about Rubicons, we're talking about Mojaves. Those are the ones. If you've got that button, this one's for you. So sway bar is super important. Last part about sway bars up front, and this really applies to the rear too, is the angle. When you look at that sway bar from the factory, generally it's gonna be right about parallel to the ground. You got the ground, you got the sway bar. When we lift them, especially if we're going for off-road performance, we at Outlaw Off-Road will generally set those 5 to 10 degrees above parallel. And the reason we do that is, and we talked about the ones that stay connected. We want to allow for the most travel that we can without that thing dropping so low that now the sway bar gets so low that it kind of flips under. That's bad. Things break. That's going to be a repair bill, and we don't want that. So you're still going to get the effects, the good effects of the sway bar limiting that body roll, but we're also going to be able to make sure that we allow for the more travel that you have now for being lifted. Parallel will work, and parallel is fine if you're not an off-roader or you're always you're always disconnected when you're off-road. That's fine. We definitely don't want it below parallel, but we shoot for 5 to 10 degrees above, and that goes for the rear as well. We want to see that same angle. On the rear sway bar links, little bit different. You're not really going to run a rear sway bar disconnect. It's not really much of a thing. It's not really talked about. It's not really discussed. There's not companies out there making rear sway bar disconnects. But we do want to make sure that when we lift it, we are getting longer ones. Whether they're fixed, whether they're adjustable, it doesn't matter. As long as you're getting them long enough, and they should come with the kit, as long as you're getting them long enough to get that sway bar within that, just a little bit above parallel, 5 to 10 degrees, that's what we want to see. Now, whether or not to get adjustable or fixed, adjustable, I always like adjustable if you're not sure, maybe you're going to change your lift height down the road. Maybe you're going to do some different things with it. Maybe you think you're going to run 2.5 with 35s now, but hey, maybe down the road I'm going to go 3.5 and I'm going to throw some 37s on it or 38s or whatever. Outstanding. Grab some adjustable ones. You're not going to rebuy that component because you went higher. If you know, hey, I'm at this lift height, I'm at this tire size, I don't need anything else, okay, cool, do fixed. That's going to work very well for you, and it's going to be cheaper for you. So you're kind of starting to see a theme here of don't buy what you don't need. So sway bar is definitely needed. Just make sure you're getting the right ones. And if you need help with that, obviously you can give us a call at Outlaw Offroad. We'd be happy to help you with that. Just make sure you're getting the right stuff for your situation and your ride to give you the best possible experience.